on Reddit, Kalento got to rank 1 with a pretty similar Druid deck that has Shade of Naxxramas as well as Spectral Knights in it.
Fun fact, Chan, man, Kalento actually got that deck from StrifeCro.
Yeah, exactly.
And said that it was, his ideas kind of put together. And it makes sense. StrifeCro is a big Druid guy. Even though he likes bringing other decks to the table, and I'm sure he'll introduce them throughout the rest of the series. But StrifeCro is known to mainly be a Druid innovating. And he always makes these unique choices. Like, he's willing to toss away Harvest Golem from his opening hand, which is kind of unfounded just because StrifeCro is one of those guys who said Harvest Golem is one of his favorite minions in the entire game, and yet he's willing to sacrifice him to the early Mulligan gods.
Well, you know what it is that the Shade of Naxxramas is an upgrade. I think it's an upgrade to that possible Innervate, turn 3 play, because that card is becoming a huge factor, particularly in this deck. And I love the way it's designed, particularly when you have a deck that can either defend it or kind of start slow anyways, like the Druid deck, because whenever the Druid deck kind of hits that turn 5, turn 6, and they're able to get that Shades down pretty early, there's just this huge turnaround effect that we see in the game, and it's has a lot to do with just that card being added to the deck.
Fair enough, fair enough. They're talking about really interesting cards that also add to the deck. Keep in mind that Brad has this new tech of the Sludge Belcher being thrown into Miracle Rogue.
Yeah.
I mean, people probably have seen it here and there on streams, as even some tournaments, but it's also a little bit interesting because they used to toss in Sen'jin Shieldmaster as that taunt card, and a lot of Miracle Rogues feel like Sludge Belcher outperforms Sen'jin, and just for 1 extra mana cost, and you scale back something like the Assassin's Blade, that can be a really big factor against aggressive decks. And that might come into play against a deck like Token, or not Token Druid, but this really fast Druid that uses double combo, especially if he gets to a stage where he has nothing on board and all he needs to do is burst with that extra 2 pieces.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when they think about Miracle Rogue, they think of it as the aggressor a lot of times, but in reality, Miracle Rogue is a control deck, and one of the ways that you fight a Miracle Rogue is to put pressure on it, right? And that's kind of why that taunt is needed, that Sinjin or that Belcher. So yeah, again, Belcher being the double taunt is a really great solution for it. And now we're seeing StrifeCro kind of going into really starting to take control at least of the board here, and Brad not really sitting on any good cards here. He's got a lot of the spells, but he doesn't have any of the minions that he wants to be throwing down right now.
Yeah, Innervate was such an important part because StrifeCro can still curve out very nicely with the coin the following 2 turns. And so that kind of, it was introducing an awkward point before that, but now StrifeCro has the most important part of Druid, which is starting off on an easy curve without missing any drops and having board control.
Yeah.
Brad, in the meantime, just like you said, Shaman, what can you really do? He's just going to have to play defensive for a while, but he's still going to be taking damage. And against Fast Druid, which plays double combo, you don't want to take any extraneous damage you don't have to give up, because then if they sneak out a combo, then you just die regardless of what you do in the early game.
Yeah, and this is kind of the nightmare start for the Miracle, when you just get pure spells, no minions, no Auctioneer either. And Druid here, he's got board control. He's got the Druid of the Claw play here, followed up by a Lotheb. So it's going to be a while before the Rogue's going to be able to even get back on the board, because Rogues rely so heavily on spells. So Lotheb's just a great card in this matchup here.
If you read that he doesn't have anything to do other than tack into Harvest Golem, do you feel comfortable even coining out Lotheb, because you feel like his only response is something like spells or even something like Azure Drake in response? I mean, Druid the Claw charge is like a really aggressive stance, which makes sense, you have 2. But if you push out Lotheb, just think about exactly what the implications are. Your opponent just showed that he can't deal with minions with other minions, and so if he places something else, you can kind of utilize and leverage this while being able to pressure. I love Lotheb here in this position. It makes total sense. Yeah,
I think so. I think you make a really great point there too. So Brad does draw the Auctioneer though, so that's going to at least give him some hope in the next turn at least. He's not going to play it this turn, but yeah, this is going to be.
He gives up 5 mana though, Chan, man.
Oh, I know. I know.
Lotheb's battle cry was skip your opponent's next turn.
That's what it should say. Oh man, yeah, and this is rough for Brad right now. Are we gonna see a taunt here? Or are we gonna just go see 4? We're just gonna go 4 charge here.
Yeah, I mean, taunt is really not necessary in most cases, because look how much damage you can actually threaten lethal the next turn.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have any form of follow-up damage, and that's exactly what StrifeCro is. I can't really imagine him putting it in taunt, Just because, again, he would have to spend removal on Lotheb anyways. Although he is hesitating a little bit, so maybe he's considering something else.
He didn't want to put it on the left. He wanted to put it between them. Okay, there he goes. Goes for the cat. It's always good to make sure you're making the right plays. Just, take your time. And
play around Betrayal.
Yeah, there you go. Well, okay, so he's got play around Betrayal. He's got Auctioneer, and he's got a prep too, so that's definitely poison. Yeah, this is the clear too. All right, so this is actually really good, man. This is an incredible play actually by Brad here, resetting the board, and StrifeCro still has quite a bit of damage in his hand though. He's got 10 damage in his hand with the Force of Nature and the Druid of the Claw, and now he's got Swipe too. So he's representing enough damage to kill Brad unless he draws that Earthen Ring.
Yep. He just pieces together over the course of 2 turns.
Yep.
And Brad is now on a clock, although something like Lotheb, the timing of it might be his ticket into potentially squeezing back in this game. The most important thing is Brad does have small follow-ups to Gadgetzan, but if he picked up only spells, it would have been a nightmare. Now, say this Shiv draws the Sludge Belcher. I still think he might be able to kind of climb back in his mind, even though we know StrifeCro has the Black Knight. This is the cards that you're looking for when you Shiv first, because Brad doesn't want to be too anxious and just toss out the Van Cleave without kind of seeing what is possible to draw into.
Okay, so StrifeCro's got a choice now. Does he just go for it at this point, or is he gonna play more of a? He's gonna try for a little bit longer game, possibly removing that Edwin with something like a Force of Nature. If he decides to just go with the minion, try to play it a little slower here. Brad can remove pretty much anything that he does here. Special Knight's just gonna get removed by the Edwin. Same goes for a Druid of the Claw if he decided to taunt it up. Brad's sitting on a sap too, so that's gonna be really good. I feel like StrifeCro just needs to go for it.
Yeah, what makes it really difficult is Spectrum Knight is kind of like an anchor. If he didn't have Van Cleef, say he played, SI7 and that was it, I think Spectrum Knight would be really comfortable to drop, but because Van Cleef can easily take it out, it's no longer sticky anymore, and then all of a sudden, Miracle Row can kind of compound its advantage. So if you go for Druid of the Claw, it sets up for a 2-turn lethal, but then if Lotheb comes out, or even Sludge Belcher, it does slow down your plans a little bit, and you're not going to be able to kill off immediately. So StrifeCro is going to be taking a little bit of a risk, but he's still posturing himself to be successful in case Brad doesn't have the 1 or 2 cards he needs to end this game.
Okay, let's see if Brad ends up reading into this play, and he must play Lotheb this turn. If he does not play Lotheb this turn, he could lose. I mean, he loses.
It might
right
get
here.
really tough, though, because it's very tempting to play the Azure Drake and get your draws going, because as much as you're surviving, you also want to think of ways to win the game, and Van Cleef is your damage potential. So say, instead of dropping like Lotheb and Sap, if you're dropping the Drake and you draw, it feels very tempting because you can remove that way. But you need to drop Lotheb here, because we know the information that StrifeCro has the lethal in hand.
All right, see what he does here. Such a rough situation, though. Let me make sure that Brad even has an Earthen Ring. Okay, he does have 2 Earthen Rings. So if he can survive 1 more turn and draw the Earthen Ring, and he's got Shadow Step too, he could survive long enough to win this game.
Wow, hovering over Fan of Knives, just trying to see what he can draw first, heavily indicates that he's going to play Lotheb anyways.
Yeah, he wants the Earthen Ring.
But oh wow, having to trade into it, that is really difficult, because that Druid of the Claw effectively did win health mode, but it got charged in the process.
Right.
Still doesn't answer the overarching problems of, is Brad just gonna die to a Force of Nature? Or even worse, like say Brad draws into into Sludge Belcher next turn anyways. StrifeCro still has combo, the game's over because he can push through the taunts easily. So Brad's in still of a tight spot. He needs something big here off the top.
Well, he needs the Earthen Ring. I mean, that's yeah, the Belcher or the Earthen Ring is all he needs. And he's got Auctioneer. He's got a couple draws here actually for it.
Yeah, but how annoying is that Spectral Knight now? The stickiness of that minion. You can't backstab it. You have to backstab your own minion. In which case, Azure Drake technically is the same whether or not you're, because you're still drawing 1 card. And even if you eviscerate or something, then you're still not enough mana for Earthen Ring. So you're right, Champion. He needs that now.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of pull it together here?
I know. It's just like Obviously, we have all the information, so we know exactly what he should do, but you know, a little bit hard for him to read into this. Going to definitely have to trade the 6-2 into that, and let's see what he gets here. He gets Leroy, not exactly what he needs here, and let's see if he ends up playing. He's going to have to play the Shadow Step here too. Yep, and he reads into that too, and he can't. Yeah, Shadow Step Lotheb. StrifeCro can remove that Auctioneer next turn if he wants, but I'm thinking he's just going to go. Maybe save it up for a 10 damage turn here. What do you think? You think you remove the Auctioneer, don't allow him to draw any cards? Because obviously he doesn't have the Earthen Ring, right? I think it's pretty obvious to StrifeCro he's been trying to draw for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got just enough mana to do the swipe, too.
Yeah, I think you can't leave up the Auctioneer. It represents too much of a threat. If you go for something like Ancient of Lore plus Heal, and then you have Swipe and Force of Nature, let's see how much damage you get. You can put out 10 damage if it goes straight. But say worst case scenario happens, and you have a lot of opportunity to draw with preparations and shivs, and just say you have full 10 mana. They drop Earthen Ring and then the Sludge Belcher, and then all of a sudden your plans become completely defunct. It is a little bit of a low percentage chance that your opponent has it, but if you go for this Ancient of Lore play, it is a little bit on the greedier side. StrifeCro might feel like if you swipe anyways, you might lose the ability to push through, because then you're all of a sudden top decking Force of Nature, or Savage Roar rather, in order to finish the game in case he draws that combo.
Well, so, Brad is looking at lethal right here if he doesn't remove anything, unless he doesn't heal too, right? So he's going to just heal, and Brad has got a lot of so now he's out of lethal range, but Brad's got a lot of potential for damage here. He could draw another Eviscerate. Oh, that wouldn't have done it for him though.
19.
Right? Yeah, it wouldn't have. That would have been 23.
With
yeah,
power.
Not quite. Okay. So he still needs a Earthen Ring. I was thinking that maybe there was a chance that he ends up lethaling him here.
This Azure Drake needs to pick up something big. Or if Brad chooses to go a little bit smaller on the mana cost, like Gnomish Inventor. Because if he picks up Gnomish Inventor and then second Shadow Step, Leroy is 12 plus the 9, that's 21. That's still a little bit short.
Wow, this is a tough one here. Yeah, I think you just sap it, right?
Well, Sap continues to draws. It doesn't use up your mana as much. You might draw into like Preparation and draws, and Preparation, like Eviscerate into Shadow Step, might be your ticket to ending this game. Second Eviscerate.
There's a second Eviscerate. All right, let's see what else he gets.
So he's still trying to draw on damage.
Sludge Belcher.
He's running out of time, though. Sludge Belcher off the top is actually very important, but StrifeCro has the swipe.
Oh man, he thinks it's a really good draw, but unfortunately, StrifeCro's gonna be able to finish the game here.
There you go.
Wow, that was actually
Patience
really
ends
close.
up winning the game.
Yeah, that was actually really close. He had to Eviscerate again just to see if he could get any kind of life gain there, but really close there. Brad, clawing back there, got up. So we'll see if he'll be able to do that with this type of deck. I haven't actually played this type of crazy aggressive hunter, so this. Not playing high main is just like wow these days.
Yeah, right.
It's such a great card.
It just feels like Ancient of Lore without Druid, right? Or sorry, excuse me, the other way around. Druid without Ancient of Lore. It just feels like how could you give away some of the best value minions at its slot with those kinds of stats? But one of the things that this deck is exceptional at are weapon classes. Because I mean, Leper Gnome, Undertaker, those are such big early removal baits that you often kind of miscalculate because of how much it ramps up. And then factor in the hero power of Hunter. This deck absolutely slays Miracle Road. Like, I can't even begin to tell you the struggle I had on ladder, because I tried to play Miracle Road to counter some of these mid-range hunters, and then I encountered these super aggressive face hunters with death rattles, and it gave me such a hell of a time that I rage quit several times throughout the day. I admit it, Chan, man.
Yeah,
I'm
and
guilty.
That's why some rogues are actually playing some taunt, like I was saying earlier, just to kind of slow down some of these like Undertaker aggro decks. But this game, StrifeCro is actually off to a slower start. He does have Savage this time around, and a token in the form of the Ooze. But I think he would have definitely preferred the type of start he had last turn. We'll see if Brad can get off to a good one here. He does. So Brad has the Houndmaster too. So he's going to try to figure out a way to get that turn 4 Houndmaster. That's usually the key turn for a hunter to just snowball on their opponent.
Yeah, definitely, because you put out 6-5 in stats plus taunt, so you can kind of disrupt the opponent's attack flow. And, beyond the obvious, what also is important to note is that Brad doesn't have many beasts, so he needs to protect his Haunted Creeper as a high priority, which usually is the case, because there's not, like, Haunted Creeper is really hard to remove, and the opponents usually think, if I kill it off, I'm actually doing more damage to myself per turn. But if this Haunted Creeper dies, the Houndmaster won't pick up really good value, and that's one of the drawbacks of playing such a non-beast synergy deck with Hunter. Sometimes you just don't get value, and you're often playing a Houndmaster just as a 4-3, which feels the worst in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so StrifeCro got to decide what he wants to do here. That Mad Scientist can be so annoying. It's such great value. We've talked about many times why it's so good. But getting that trap up, not knowing what that trap is too, can be like a mental thing too for you, or at least a psychological advantage for the Hunter.
Yeah, and it's kind of like an innervate for Hunter, right? You innervate, play the trap with this. But one thing that you do have an advantage is that you kind of want to get ahead of the trap sometimes. So say you play around it. Say you Wrath the Mad Scientist, and then you have the option of attacking and triggering immediately before there's major consequences. One of the hardest things to deal with early on is a trap, and then they play a bow and they get a couple extra damage, and then it's later stages in the game where you're trying to drop bigger creatures like Druid the Claw, and then all of a sudden you lose a bunch of tempo. So now, triggering the Mad Scientist this turn is the most important in my opinion, just because you want to provoke as much of a big response as possible without major consequences.
Okay, so StrifeCro actually puts a pretty a choice for Brad here, or at least with a little bit of a dilemma maybe, whether to remove that ooze or to actually give yourself a potential Houndmaster target. So Brad opts to just remove it and kind of wait on the Houndmaster. He does have a Tiger, so he knows that at least turn 5 he'll be able to get down a beast that is stealth, so StrifeCro won't be able to remove it anyways. Kind of interesting, just a little subtle play there by StrifeCro, which was really cool. Okay, so he gets rid of it with the 2 damage there.
I didn't think about it that way, Chanman. You're completely right. StrifeCro was trying to make the Houndmaster turn very difficult for Brad. And that Keeper of the Grove is also a big draw, because I don't think he minds getting it back in his hand. Silence is really important against a lot of these cards in Hunter, whether it is Mad Scientist or Savannah Hyman. You're not exactly sure what it is just yet, because you haven't seen a lot of those super aggressive cards like Leopard Gnome or Undertaker yet. So StrifeCro is playing super cautious. That Keeper of the Grove is a very important card that came to his hand.
All right, so Mark of the Wild here. Can't really disagree with that play there, but losing that Mark of Wild to something like a Keeper of the Grove might cost him a little bit later when some of the bigger minions like Ancient of Lore comes out, and even Druid of the Claw.
Oh yeah, certainly. Now this second Saboteur, a little bit of a dead draw, but StrifeCro's been drawing pretty well most games so far.
Yep.
So I think he can afford it. Plus his opponent followed up a Hunter's Mark play with just a Web Spinner. So it's very clear that he has cards that either ramp up or are completely situational, like say he has half the combo, or he has really top-end cards like Savannah Hyman's waiting to go. So he needs to take this opportunity to load up. He's going to go Cat Form and try to charge and trigger the trap.
Yeah, that's important.
He sees its Freezing Trap.
Yeah, the sooner you can get rid of that trap, the sooner you can, get back on the board and take board control, because as long as that trap's up there, I felt like the Hunter was in control of this game. So now he's triggered it, and Brad has the Tiger turn here, but I feel like StrifeCro's coming into his power turns here with the actual Ancient Allure coming up here. He's still got the Druid of the Claw too, and then now he's got Black Knight too. So even if he Houndmasters that Web Spinner, it's no problem for Strife. It's like amazing for Strife actually.
Yeah, are you afraid of Black Knight from your opponent? He is playing a really fast Druid. It is these tournament decks where they include cards like Harrison Jones and Black Knight and BGH based on their read of the meta. And, Brad, I think going for the Tiger is a safer play, and yet it's still aggressive. You don't lose too much potency, to be honest. You're still putting 6 damage on the board. With Houndmaster, you're putting 7. But you also have the flexibility of having 2 beasts for Houndmastering in case something goes wrong.
No, I like the Tiger play absolutely in this case, because sometimes it can be really hard to get the Tiger down if you don't get it down turn 5. A lot of times you're having to deal with other things, with removal or with leash and that sort of bit, and you just don't ever get the Tiger down. So if you're playing this type of aggressive deck, ASAP, get it down, and then you can play the Houndmaster. You got 2 beasts now, right? So you can play the Houndmaster this turn if you want. Oh,
What a
man.
top deck for Brad, by the way.
I
Freezing
know.
Trap on the
Oh,
Spectre Knight is
man.
going to hold that thing in place.
Exactly.
And then, from here, Brad feels completely comfortable just Hound Mastering his Web Spinner then, and then letting his Tiger do it. Oh, he's going to go for the Tiger, though?
Oh,
That is
wow.
so greedy. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
I mean, you open yourself up
Whoops.
not just to Black Knight, but to BGH range. But I think if you're going to go for the collected value and kill off the Spectre Knight, then it makes total sense to taunt this up. But man, I thought he was just gonna. I thought he was gonna continue to build his board and pressure and use a freezing trap as a disincentive.
Yeah.
Wait. It makes sense. He has Druid of the Claw. That's been freezing trap before.
Oh,
Brad was
that's
playing
true.
with
Yeah, yeah. So he knows he could trigger that anyways. Okay, that's true. And I have to say, the way the game is going, I believe, I mean, I feel like it favors StrifeCro right now. Brad, I feel like, should have been to the point where he's starting to just hit, start doing damage to the face here. I think he would have loved to have been able to do that. He has quite a bit well, he still has damage in the form of kill command in his hand. Could have gotten him down to maybe 10 to 12, I think. But right now we're seeing, StrifeCro's, again, his power cards are starting to come out, and unless Brad starts getting a lot, just some cards that he can really strengthen the board with here. He doesn't have enough damage to really push out here. Even like Leroy, I don't think it's going to get him quite there.
Okay, well, Leroy Unleashed Kill Command is a lot of damage.
It's
still.
a lot of damage. That's
usually
true.
13 to 15, depending on the state of the board. And then say you're squeezing a couple of hero powers in between. I mean, Lotheb is the natural choice here. You shut down, but it stinks because you can't hero power and Lotheb, which it really does add up. If you're able to squeeze into 2 hero powers, where normally you're just leaving 1 mana up, that really does make the difference. So Brad is kind of in a tough spot in terms of getting the damage down. StrifeCro is way too healthy. He's coming up on turns where he can Ancient of Lore heal himself anyways. So you need to kind of grab seeds of the board, but now there's a Black Knight that's kind of imposing his will, and he's kind of okay with it getting freezing trapped.
Yeah, Lotheb, great player though. He's not going to be able to respond to it. He's going to have to respond with the minion here. And yeah, you're actually right. So that there is quite a bit of damage now with that Leroy draw. Now that you mention it. Okay, he draws a Lotheb. So interesting. That freezing trap's still going to be problematic for StrifeCro at this point. I feel like he still has to continue building this board. Either he tries to trigger it right now, and then you almost do nothing else. I guess you clear out the web spinner with your hero power, or you can try to build the board, get the Lotheb down, and just hope you don't die in the next turn or two. But it looks like he's going to be set up to, or Brad's setting up to lethal in the next turn or two here.
Yeah, you want to kill off the beast just because you're playing around Houndmaster, kill commands, etc. You're not super excited because the web spinner does give a beast back. But so I'm playing with these 5 drops, whether it's Lotheb or Druid the Claw, makes total sense. And I think this is a situation where you actually might see, he might charge this and then kill off the Houndmaster as well. And I feel like that's actually a better play here because StrifeCro needs to go for as much board clear. He realizes this is a lot of damage, so if he plays passively and taunt up, he actually is going to be in a lot of trouble.
And then boom, okay, and there's the freezing trap, which can be really painful. And the Druid of the Claw is also like 7 mana it costs now too, so that's one thing to take note of. And let's see how much damage can Brad do this turn. Let's take a look. All right.
Okay, so he's got 6 from Leroy, 5 from Lotheb, plus the hero power, that's 13. And it's still... He can't hero power and use one of the 3 mana cost cards. 9 mana is the sweet spot. So Brad will have to wait a little bit longer, but he does have at least a decent minion to play. I mean, Tundra Rhino is damage, especially if he gets something off of Flare. Like, say he picks up
Flare here for sure. Keep that kind of burst damage in your hand. Like, you're right. I mean, the Tundra Rhino at least is something that we can remove what's on the board. Ooh, okay, Tiger.
Ooh.
Tiger's pretty good here.
Yeah, Tiger's excellent.
Yeah, Tiger's pretty great here.
I really don't see too much an advantage of playing the Tundra Rhino. I mean, you do get the opportunity to maybe kill off this Black Knight in case it does anything else. But the Tiger is kind of your reassurance damage. Like, you make up that damage elsewhere, and there's no way you're being under threat from 30 HP to 0. Unless your opponent has no, they can't even. They can't even double innervate, double combo right with Savage Flora and kill
exactly.
you.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, and he goes with a Tiger. I think that's a great move there, and sets up lethal next turn here potentially. Not even potentially, like pretty likely unless the taunt goes
this
up
is
here.
tough.
Yeah.
Defender of Argus might help, but I feel like Lotheb is the bigger MVP here for StrifeCro. He needs to find a way to play Lotheb. He could Lotheb and swipe and try to remove, or Argus and trade. But then you're kind of left with like only one target on Defender of Argus, which is very easy to remove with like Kill Command or something.
Yeah.
Plus, or like, sorry, not Kill Command, but even Hunter's Mark. So it's still not preferable, but I think he's got to do what he's got to do. Plus, Swipe is a little bit more flexible for things like Buzzard and Unleash.
Yeah. At this point, you just got to remove what you can. He's thinking about... Okay, so I think he may be thinking about just hitting face and hoping for a draw. There's no draw that he could get because he doesn't have Innervate. He needs 2 pieces to actually get the double combo. So it's... Wonder what
say he draws
about actually here.
Say he draws Force of Nature. So that's 14. Say the worst case scenario, because like Lotheb obviously most likely will die, Black Knight will die. And by the way, I think this is actually I think this is lethal just because of Leroy, but oh no, because of Lotheb, we were just even talking about this.
No,
right?
it's not. It's not quite. He can't cast any spells, right? So, but the Tundra Rhino, the Tundra Rhino, does it give him anything here?
It gives him a way to kill the Black Knight and push through, and a draw off the Buzzard. And I think you're saving, unless you want to use Unleash here just to kind of clear, but you're still going to be... Actually, Unleash is okay.
I think you use Unleash here.
Unleash is okay.
Yeah.
Tundra Rhino accomplishes pretty much the same thing, effectively.
Well, Tundra, but he doesn't... You can't remove Lotheb, though. If you... Oh, you mean Tundra and Buzzard, or is that what you're talking about? Tundra Buzzard?
Yeah, okay, Buzzard, Tundra Rhino, charge in, see what you draw. If it's like even Haunted Creeper, Haunted Creeper actually would be so nasty here.
Oh,
or
God,
even Web Spinner.
Oh, that's not a good draw there.
But now you push through effectively through the same way you would have with Unleash, and you squeeze into hero power. So this is, I think, vastly superior, and you get to keep the Tundra Rhino. The best of both worlds. Oh, sorry, you don't get to keep
No, you have to sack the... Yeah, you gotta sack
Excuse me.
But you still got Unleash. He can still get the... No problem. So he can still get the beast in the form of the Unleash the Hounds. Get that kill command. So still setting up that... Oh, okay, so he just removes the board completely. Okay, I thought maybe he would go for face there and still allow for a possible lethal.
Yeah, honestly, I think the attack to the face and attack to the minion is really 50-50. It's what you want to play around.
Yeah.
You have Leroy kill command and Eagle Horn bow, so you've got so much damage and burn. So you're not really worried about whether or not you can lethal him. You're just worried about what he can do with that Defender of Argus, which the truth is not much. StrifeCro's hand is looking pretty bare at the moment of what he can do to just survive this turn.
Yeah.
Can't even survive this turn.
Yeah, he still has the... You're right. Still Leroy kill command. Hero power still accomplishes it.
I don't really see any way he can live past his turn.
I don't think he can either. I mean, everything costs either 10 or 11 mana at this point. So
yeah, a little too expensive, and Brad has him covered twice over.
Yeah. All right, so Brad's gonna tie this series up. Oh, we got another Eagle Horn too. So way too much damage. Got 12 damage there. Not way too much, but just one extra damage.
Sure. And this is a really important win for him to pull back even. Miracle was taken down. If Miracle and Hunter was taken down, I think StrifeCro would actually destroy Brad, because he's got a couple of other decks where it would be
mage more than the actual secret mage, because I think he's been playing this a lot on ladder but not showing it at events, or hadn't had a chance to show it at events. So I was talking to Monk the other day. He was really excited to see the mage today. So this is the mage we're talking about. Super aggro. This is basically StrifeCro's aggro deck.
With Pyroblast.
With Pyroblast at the end. It's got the Undertaker. Undertaker's been, I think, the key card we're seeing, at least with the next Rammus cards, that really add to the aggressive archetype. And we're seeing Undertakers in all kinds of classes, and even the Mage. I've definitely seen variations of it. Some with traps. Actually, a lot of them do have traps in it because the Mad Scientist synergizes also with the Undertaker. But this type of Mage deck is going to be perfect. I mean, like you said, Flare
Wow.
has no value against this.
Is Brad onto the game plan? He's mulliganing away Flare too. He wants
That is
that quick
weird.
of a start.
That is, I
So
mean, that is
I mean,
typically
it's an interesting set of choices. Maybe Brad got intel on what kind of deck StrifeCro's playing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. StrifeCro streamed this deck? Maybe StrifeCro streamed this deck and he was able to get some reconnaissance and because
Yeah.
you almost never mulligan a flare against a mage, given that duplicate and lots of secret decks are pretty popular right now when if you do see a mage on the ladder. Ooh,
Okay, so a
this
couple
is a
things.
hard decision. Wow.
Yeah, Stranglethorn Tiger is one of your best creatures late game because it kind of replaces the Savannah Highmane. The problem is your Houndmaster most likely won't be able to pick up. You have to pick up like Haunted Creeper, or else you're not going to pick up value. So it's just a 4/3 minion. And then Web Spinner doesn't give you the guarantee of picking up a good minion. Sure, you have something to play early, but you are leaving it up to RNGesus because if you get Angry Chicken, well, it's just another draw card for your Buzzard, and that doesn't feel the exact best insurance either. This is a little bit of a tough choice.
See, the web spinners, it's a Savannah Highmane. Or maybe it turns into the tiger in the end. Interesting choice.
Sure,
there.
no harm, no foul, right?
Tagline. I think he chooses the web spinner there, maybe just so he has something to play next turn, or he's guaranteed to play something next turn. Not going to play the Buzzard, obviously, with the Mage and the hero power, and generally Buzzard turn 2 is a terrible play. Gets 2 of them. Wow. Okay.
All right.
2 tigers, baby. Let's see it.
Yeah, and then he'll have 3 tigers left in the deck. StrifeCro, by the way, his hand is looking really good. I think one of the heavy lifting cards will be Water Elemental, especially because Brad has Eagle Horn Bow. And if you can keep Hunter frozen, you eliminate a big portion of their damage because the 2 bows plus the secrets can total easily up to 15 plus damage over the course of the game. So you want to be able to keep it, not to mention the insane amount of health you gain with the damage and its effects. Water Elemental just feels broken sometimes when you're facing against it and you have no opportunity to use your weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Brad has the key element he needs too, which is the Buzzard Unleash. He's got 2 minions on the board now, so he can delay an extra turn here. He does got the Eagle Horn that's going to probably deal with most of what Strife will throw down here anyways. So turn 5 is going to be looking pretty good for Brad here.
Yeah, but it's all about what you can stabilize before it. When Unleash was first nerfed into 3 mana instead of 2, a lot of people were saying that 1 extra mana cost, sometimes you take way too much damage to kind of recover. Tundra Rhino off the web spinner, by the way. That's also nice that you're able to get like a mid-range card to reward you for your efforts.
Yeah.
But the fact is, if StrifeCro can kind of push out damage enough early on, then this Buzzard Unleash might still only draw 2 or 3 cards, but there's 8 more damage being put on the face of Brad.
Mm-hmm, sure. Okay. So he's got the coin here because the turn 4 looks much more elegant here for him. He can either he can double play, he could play Argus. Water Elemental, like you were saying, looks like a pretty good option for him here, given that he has the Eagle Horn Bow equipped now. And just the 3/6 in general is such a huge target. It's just a very difficult target to remove. But it looks like he's going to go with a more aggressive approach here. See if he can get rid of that web spinner from a knife.
Yeah, the struggle is actually really important to deny the Houndmaster. Oh. Well, I guess in the end, he just took 1 extra damage, but he makes himself more vulnerable to unleash the Hounds in the future. But that's where Defender of Argus comes into play. But, StrifeCro would have at least liked to take that damage off of his minion and toward the face.
Oh, man. If he actually procs the spider, too, he could potentially get a ton of cards this next turn. But this turn, it looks like he's just going to throw down the 2 minions here. Yeah, I don't think there's any better play than that. Yep.
Yeah, River Crocodile is actually kind of neutral. There's no better way to kind of get the juggles off of the Haunted Creeper, so Brad recognizes he needs to kill off this Night Juggler. You lose the weapon damage, and you reduce the Unleash power, but you're counting on the fact that StrifeCro is going to be able to play future stuff.
And we're about to see a lot of cards, I think, drawn by Brad here. He's going to be able to proc that Spectral, or the Haunted Creeper into the 2 Spectrals here, so Unless StrifeCro just trades everything and then just plays the water elemental, which I don't think he'll trade the I don't think he'll trade the Haunted Creeper like that though.
Yeah, I don't know if you care too much about 3 or 4 cards. It seems like it's going to be 4 cards here. And Defender of Argus, you rarely get to pick up, especially if you have 2 in hand. It's rare that you're going to be able to pick up full value twice times over. So it's a little hard to pass it up. At the same time, Water Elemental is a big threat, but you recognize and kind of, fully respect the power of Hunter's Mark. And so there's a time and a place for Water Elemental. Hopefully he can kind of use it beforehand. And also, Eagle Horn Bow has been used, so you're not afraid to get something completely destroying your Sorcerer's Apprentice easily like that bow.
All right, so I mean, I'm sure StrifeCro recognizes that this is that Buzzard Unleashed turn, so he's trying to figure out if there's a good way to potentially give him maybe one inefficient trade here.
Yep, and do you allow him to get decent Houndmaster value? Because if he does Houndmaster this 2/3, which most likely won't, because how can you pass up drawing 4 cards? But assuming you did, he has that 1 extra health, but you do have the hero power to kind of tilt things, so maybe you can have a way to climb back.
Yeah, and this is an amazing turn. He gets another Unleash too, so again, StrifeCro's playing this very aggressive mage, so Unleash the Hound has like very, very good value in this matchup. Gets the Hunter's Mark, able to remove that taunt really easily, and we're looking at almost a board clear situation here. Pretty close.
This feels like a big blowout, unless StrifeCro kind of piece together a little bit of damage, and that's where Arcane Intellect is really vital. Not necessarily just in the beginning phases where sometimes mages will passive, but when you're playing more aggressive, in those later stages, it helps you get to that damage point where you need. StrifeCro needs to definitely turn things around because Brad's hand looks really powerful. He's got a lot of minions, he's got ways to disrupt tempo, and he's got finish potential with Kill Command.
Yeah. A lot of ways, I mean, they don't like the call games really, but StrifeCro's deck is geared towards having momentum. He doesn't have any of the border clearing, flame strikes, or blizzards, or anything that can get you back in the game when you're behind. So the instant he falls behind, at least, and especially to this extent, it's near impossible for him to come back, actually.
All right, well, Mana Worm is kind of interesting because I think he might use it just as a little bit of a damage sponge.
Yeah, just taunt it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or even just try to capitalize on your hero power, play Mana Worm, hero power, and then just try to go effective. At this stage, there's no way you can just seize back the board easily without AoE.
Yeah.
So I think maximizing your hero power is also a smart way to play this.
Yeah, actually, hero power wouldn't be terrible either.
You do leave over 2 mana, which is the most excruciating part, though. Like,
That's true.
Absolutely.
That Arcane Intellect would have been so great.
Yeah, but once again, going back to what we say, it's a little bit hard to pass up Defender of Argus value, and you are leaving up 2 mana by doing this. So
you're forcing a card. You're forcing some type of crucial. I mean, some type of either overkill card to remove that last taunt, or even like a Hunter's Mark. It's still a pretty good card for your opponent to have to use. Lots of choices here. He's got Houndmasters. He's got Unleashes. He's got Kill Commands. He's got a lot of choices here.
Let's see, Unleash and Hunter's Mark allows him to go for a full clear.
Yeah.
And he can still play Animal Companion. In fact, if he gets Leok off Animal Companion, that'd be pretty beastly.
Oh,
the thing about Houndmaster is that you're going to be buffing something that dies, versus you can buff something that's really intimidating, like an Animal Companion. Right? If it's Misha, it's a 6/6. If it's Leok, it becomes this 4/6 raid leader. So I think using Houndmaster in this scenario is pretty good. But it seems like Brad instead wants to go for more of a board dominant position, and then just start using his cards a little bit more effectively. Or efficiently, rather.
Okay, so he's going to opt for the Freezing Trap here.
Really? Okay. Well,
He
it
just
seems like he's also kind of hit a critical juncture where, does he want a Freezing Trap, Definitive Argus? Is it okay for him to just hero power it down and then push through? So he says no, but he uses the second Hunter's Mark already.
Okay.
So if StrifeCro is playing like a mid-range scale, like Sludge Belchers into Duplicate and Sylvanas,
Wow.
This was a big risk for him to take. Again, I feel like he's playing with intel that he knows StrifeCro's deck a little bit better than the average person would go into this.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of people wouldn't leave a bunch of, yeah, just a bunch of very weak minions like that be susceptible to something like AoE. But Tundra Rhino here is going to give... I think he's just going to play straight for the body here.
Like, how does Brad know that his opponent's not playing something like Sludge Belcher? Like, because you're using a Hunter's Mark to protect your Houndmaster or these other minions, but it's just like not enough assurance. I mean, well, it doesn't really matter because it's just interesting theory crafting. Brad's going to charge a little bit, just like you said, to the face. And it's going to make life a little bit difficult for StrifeCro. He needs to pick something like Flame Strike, but I don't think he has it. He's got Dancing Swords in his deck.
Yeah, Dancing Swords. Something he wished he would have gotten a while back there, because Dancing Swords obviously the most potent when you're playing on turn 3 or turn 2 here. He's got some removal here. He can't really remove the... Well, he can remove the Tundra, but I don't know if he wants to remove the Tundra over removing the Houndmaster here. He's got Arcane Intellect. He can draw a couple cards to see what he can get. Maybe he gets a... What can you get with 2 mana? Another Frostbolt, maybe?
Well, it's tough. This is Freezing Trap, by the way, so he can't actually remove this Tundra Rhino right now.
True.
And now he's in a tough spot. He needs to kind of reduce some of the damage, calculate all the possibilities. And I think he's just going to play Dancing Swords,
Yeah, okay.
He's forced to play cleanup. Well, this gives Brad a big opportunity because Tundra Rhino has lived. Tiger off the top. Oh, wait.
Tiger.
Hold on.
Does he have lead?
That's
Let's see, 3,
10, that's
10.
13, that's 15 damage.
Oh, yeah,
by my
almost.
count.
But going to remove this Dancing Sword, get a card draw here. All right, it's going to be... Is it going to be Leok? Is it going to be Huffer? Oh, it's Huffer, okay.
When is it not Huffer, Jam Man?
It's not Huffer when I need Leok. That's when it's... I mean, it's only Huffer when it's...
Oh, you're talking as the Hunter player.
Exactly.
Gosh.
Exactly.
Uh-oh, and here I thought we could be friends.
Okay, excellent roll there.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Ooh, he's going for the dance. I mean, I feel like
can't go wrong.
the kill command on the face makes your other kill command lethal, and unless you're afraid fate of a 3-card combo, or actually 2 cards, because you know Water Elemental is one of them. I don't think there's any way that he can kind of get past this. StrifeCro looks like he is done this game as well.
Throws up the mirror image, just that last guy when an army's about to steamroll you. The last guy with the two people. That's not a dude actually, right? And mirror image is actually a female, isn't it? 2 females?
Yeah, it's a copy of Jaina.
Oh, Jaina, that's right. It's 2 Jainas.
Before she like lost her hair color because of I don't know. I want to say stress or old age, but I feel like Warcraft lore is a lot more badass than that. So
big minion that will play a bit or a part is the Sludge Belcher. The Sludge Belcher, I think, for the warrior will be able to delay a lot of the damage pushed to its face during that crucial mid range or the mid game.
Yikes! But StrifeCro doesn't want that hand. I think he's actually happy to mulligan this.
Yeah, no problem.
As much as you might kind of think that you don't have the early cards you need, at least you know you can't mulligan into it if you like threw away
those 2 cards.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
Right, and you drew into those first 2 cards.
Well, that's not much. It's a little better. It's a little better.
Emphasis
but
on little.
He's kind of laughing about it because it's not great too. Brad getting the bow, that's definitely good. We haven't seen too much damage from the bow actually up to this point. The bow actually has been more about removing than anything else. So we'll see if it plays a bigger role in this more of an aggressive hunter. It only has 2 traps too, so it's not like it's totally dependent upon bow damage. Ooh. Okay.
I normally like to see if Hunter, if you're being more aggressive, to keep something like Lothep so it can secure your board, especially against a potential brawl or whatever, like Cleave, Shield Slam, Whirlwind turn. But he didn't have any starting minions, and now he's picked up one of the best starts you could potentially ask for with Double Hunter Creeper and Animal Command. The only thing that strikes more fear in my heart is turn 1 Undertaker Coin Leperno. That's the only thing to scare your life.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. That is the worst feeling in the world.
That is definitely terrible. And StrifeCro, can't do anything here. He does draw Slam, does draw Shield Slam. He can, potentially remove some, but Double Creeper here is It's kind of daunting. He does have a death bite, so eventually turn 5 possibly he can clear all those annoying 1/1s. But not getting any minions to even throw down to really contest the board here. Is he going to use a slam here? We'll see.
Slam just increases more of your damage
It
that
does.
you take every turn. That's what is so annoying about these spiders. And the worst part is they're still beasts. So if you don't start working on them, they will start potentially collecting Houndmaster value. And in the back of your mind, you say, well, even if I kill us off and they get Leok off
Well, I mean, I
the
think
animal companion, then I'm taking damage.
that's true. But give out 1 damage now to potentially set up a board clear on turn 5. With your death bite plus whatever you plan on turn 5. Maybe it's a shield block, shield slam. You can clear the board there. Might be something you're looking at this point. You have to be wary of a potential Houndmaster next turn. Well, actually, the turn after, right? Because he had the coin, right? Yeah, so it's turn 3 next turn for him.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree with what StrifeCro's saying here. I mean, it's kind of like exactly what you set out. If you have to go up against Houndmaster and you're getting your armor shredded, these shield slams are useless anyways.
Yep.
So you're doing what you can to cut your losses. It stinks that you have to use it on a Haunted Creeper. That still pushes out more damage, but sometimes you gotta do these things in order to potentially pull back. StrifeCro's very far behind.
Yeah, and Brad's actually a little confused with that play. He's just... I mean, I guess he's not expecting Strife to have such a bad hand, because the shield slam on a creeper, you don't see that too often. But Brad has a lot of good choices here. He can go with the classic animal companion, eagle horn bow, just depending on what line you want to take here. I feel like the animal companion is a better play here, because even like Leok would actually be pretty good.
Yeah, the thing about Animal Companion is that Death Bite is probably the best answer Warrior has for Animal Companion directly. No matter what comes out, you can kill it immediately and set up for a whirlwind.
True.
So Brad is very mindful of making sure not to play too easily. As much as it's good for his curve,
Oh.
it might be a little bit tricky. But wow, a hover off the top. And that is very crucial because remember, Brad isn't necessarily as oriented around board control as he is about rushing his opponent down with some of these cards.
Right, exactly. Oh, okay, but StrifeCro actually gets a very nice draw. It doesn't have to play the Death Bite here if he doesn't want to. He actually has the ability to remove that hover as well as remove one of these Haunted Creepers with the Taskmaster. The Taskmaster is actually a nice draw.
Man, when is it not Huffer? Let me ask you this. When is it not Huffer? I'm telling you, it's just I'm sounding like I'm whining.
It's not Huffer when you're playing Hunter, man. That's when it's not Huffer.
Sure.
Oh. Pretty tough there.
StrifeCro needs to take, can you afford to even take a little bit more damage to set up for a board clear? The worst part is, now that he has Animal Companion, you can't really deny any form of Houndmaster. So if he has Houndmaster, you're back at square one. I think you got to cut your losses. I think this is exactly it. It's the same play as he did before, biting your lip and kind of sucking it up, and hopefully he doesn't have Houndmaster off the top.
Oh, gets a Mad Scientist there. Not a Houndmaster, so definitely good for StrifeCro. One note just for folks that might not have been playing Hearthstone that long. The Death Bite Death Rattle doesn't, or the 1/1 or just the 1 damage to all minions happens before the Haunted Creeper Death Rattle. I always forget that, man.
Yeah, that's right. The order in which the card played matters a lot.
Yep.
And now StrifeCro has an opportunity to go for a board clear, but boy, was this painful. The game is going to start turning when he's already lost over almost half his health.
That's true.
Or even a little bit more.
That is crazy. All right, so how does he go about doing this? He can slam the creeper, or he could slam the creeper and then death bite the scientist there, clear the board, or he could even double task actually if he wanted.
Well, I think you kill off the 1/1s, and then I like to see him use a Cruel Taskmaster and Armor Up because you want to play a little defensive. But there is something to say of playing Loteb and being slightly more aggressive and trying to shut down the counterplay of what your opponent can do. Because he also took turn 4 to play Mad Scientist off the top. So if you read it, it seems like his hand is very situational, like Hunter's Mark and whatnot. And as much as you're playing Loteb, you might play Loteb into a turn where he wasn't planning on playing spells anyways. He was just planning to set up. So you might just feel like if you pop a trap anyways with Mad Scientist, Cruel Taskmaster can cause the same thing. Plus, you're taking damage off the board. It's a tough exchange because again, you're taking damage here. But I think Lotheb here is perfectly fine, honestly.
All right, Brad still has his weapon here. He can remove Lotheb. Still has a freezing trap in his deck too, so would be able to get something from that mad scientist here. The question is whether you remove it. He could just go for face, get another 7 damage in, take him down to 9. It's pretty good. Then he has a kill command with another. I mean, that's 10 next turn, right? But Warrior's likely to armor up there, stay out of lethal the next turn, especially if you go for face. I mean, this pretty much just shows exactly what you're setting up here.
Yeah, you know, I kind of like the of going for face, even sacrificing this mad scientist so that you can push out as much damage as possible. But Brad is hesitant. Also, be mindful of things like Harrison Jones. You know, how sure are you of your opponent being able to destroy your weapon and draw cards? But he's going all face.
Okay, so he does get.
I like this too. I mean, just play. You play similar to the cards that you have in hand. Kill commands can finish the game.
Okay, so tough decision here for StrifeCro. He's going to have to at least armor up to stay alive here. I don't even think he. No, he doesn't even. Well, he has to. He has to do 2 things. He has to armor up. He has to remove that scientist too.
Yep. This is just really difficult and painful for StrifeCro. This is also a good example of, as much as the matchup might be a certain percentage of like how Warrior can fare against Hunter, also is absolutely no guarantee that the Warrior can just run away with the game. It's all about their start. StrifeCro had nothing to do until turn 4 with Death Bite, and he just took like 12 damage unnecessarily. Brad picks up Flare number 2. Let's see, he can't kill right now, right? He's only got 10 damage at the moment.
Yeah, he's got 10 damage exactly, and I don't think there's anything he can draw here. Okay, so StrifeCro avoids death in this turn at least. We'll see if he actually flares again here.
Yeah, you know,
there you go.
You want to hero power this turn no matter what. So playing Houndmaster is kind of out of the question. You want to keep a beast for the kill command. And I think now that he drew Starving Buzzard, he's actually okay dropping Web Spinner here.
Yeah.
Since you can kill command the following turn anyways and hero power.
All right.
So StrifeCro needs like a shield block.
Oh, okay, unstable ghoul.
That might help.
Yeah, that might help a little bit. He needs an armor smith is what he needs. Gonna have to remove. Okay, there we go. You can proc that freezing trap now, but now it's like you're gonna be giving up a lot of damage if you want to remove that web spinner at this point. I guess he's just gonna ignore the web spinner now that he has the unstable ghoul.
Yeah, but then Houndmaster becomes this weird problem too. You are drawing 2 cards off Acolyte, but say he Houndmasters and kill commands. I think that's... No, he doesn't have enough to hero power. You'll still be 1 damage offshore. So he's okay in this department if he goes for this. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Trying to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But Unleash the Hounds, I think, is still something that he's in the back of his mind, which Brad can completely use in his favor. Animal Companion.
Animal Companion, it's a good draw. I mean, if he gets Huffer again. Well, actually, no, he still can't remove... Well, he's got to remove both of the same. I guess the kill command's still the same, I guess. Doesn't help that much. Web Spinner's gonna die.
Yeah, now it's getting to the point where you don't want to kill command unless you know you can finish, because it's coming up on the turn, like not next turn, but say this dance continues for at least 1 more turn. Yeah. You can't just kill command without the fact knowing that he might have Alex Straza to boost himself back up to 15.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, the Huffer would be a good roll here, because he could remove the Lotheb with Huffer also if he wanted. Misha would be pretty good too here. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to die either way unless he Houndmasters. If he Houndmasters, he is a little bit more susceptible to some of the other stuff that comes out, like Whirlwind and the Cruel Taskmaster that he just killed. or sorry, that he just sent back.
Sent back, right?
But he
right.
kills off his Cruel Taskmaster damage as well, and he's very mindful of something like if he leaves this up, if for some reason the unstable Ghoul pops and he has Grommash in hand, he dies.
Yeah,
so Brad is making sure to be very careful to cover his bases.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no doubt he's going to remove the Ghoul this turn. Just whichever way, whether it's the bow or it's the spider here, but... Okay, so I think there's two rolls here that'll be good for him.
Honestly, anything is okay.
And he didn't... Well, he could have...
I mean, Misha's still pretty...
True, that's true. Oh, shield block. That's a really good draw for him.
Shield block off the top is a big draw, Chanman.
Crazy good draw for him. Exactly what he needed. I mean, I don't think there's anything better than that draw for him there.
Oh my god.
So he can
if he shield blocks and then shield slam, he still has room to like slam to clear.
Exactly.
And then do other stuff. He's going to go for Cruel Taskmaster, though.
This is the full board
first play to draw.
Yeah, this is a full board clear here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you go Houndmaster here, so that at least your Lotheb lives.
Well, I think you use Cruel Taskmaster on your Acolyte first to draw.
Oh.
If he's going to go for this.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
then you trade into it, and then shield block, shield slam. But I think shield block still draws, so it's the same concept. You're even using less mana. Unless he feels like he really can get away this turn without shield blocking, but I highly recommend using it first. Armor Smith off the top.
Nice, but he can't use both. He can't do both Task and Armor Smith. So he has to use Task to remove that Houndmaster if he wants to do that. Maybe he doesn't want to do that now. He can get. I guess he can get the 2 armor.
Yeah, he can still slam to push through.
Okay.
I wouldn't even be mad about that.
Yeah, I think the slam there is good too. Nice.
StrifeCro has barely stayed alive, and he's equalized the health count, Chanman. And now Brad got Angry Chicken off his web spinner. That's not what he was looking for.
He's got another web spinner now too. Well, at least he can draw with Angry Chicken. That's at least one benefit of it.
He needs to draw more, and he might need to.
He needs an Unleash Hunter's Mark.
It's so big here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this draw right here.
He's out of Animal Companion as well.
This is his last draw for the Unleash, because if he goes Chicken after that, he won't have enough mana for Unleash here. So, oh man, he's trying to decide which one. He goes with Angry Chicken. Maybe he has another draw with another one. If he draws, into a 1 mana card here, I don't know. Let's see. The Buzzard, well, he's looking at potential a lethal situation too. Actually, it's turn 9. Okay, so it's not necessarily a task.
No, but say he has Whirlwind,
Grommash.
These are in the back of your mind to just end the game. He's going for the buzzer, and it's Leroy off the top. And Brad cannot play it this turn, so he's gonna have to go to the Angry Chicken.
Well, he could kill command and try to remove at least something so that he doesn't have... Wow.
I think you're swinging for the fences here this turn.
Okay.
Like, killing off the Armor Smith is exactly what it does. It gains 6 health to Warrior. You're just going to have to kind of play with what you've got. He's got Leroy Unleash and Kill Command the following turn, but he can't even fit all that up mana-wise.
What are you looking to draw, though, with the Chicken?
Something that's not Angry Chicken. Oh, Grommash off the top.
Oh, man. Okay.
This game has gotten crazy.
This game is nuts right now. Okay, let's see what Strife does here. He still has the Taskmaster. He's got the double buzzer there. He's going to have to get rid of the double buzzer. He does have to deal with the freezing trap too. So he's got to figure out, all right, do I take Lotheb back in my hand? Because Lotheb is already down to 1 health anyway, so you might as well use him because he's not going to get any value anyways at this point.
He shuts down your opponent's range ability if you get Lotheb back anyways.
Yeah.
Sure, it costs a little bit extra, but looks like you're going to be playing defensive anyways. Control Warrior's not trying to end the game at the moment, even though you do have the finisher. You're still the control deck. So you play Lotheb, you armor up, you attack, you gain armor anyways, and your opponent still can't be playing spells liberally the next turn. I think StrifeCro might be just finally out of the woods. It's looking like
he might be. He's still within range. I mean, we're talking about Brad with sitting on Leroy and Unleash here, so he's got a kill command option too. If Strife can clear this board entirely, then it'll be good. But it doesn't look like he can do that.
Well, he could if he wanted to be like a YOLO brawler.
Yeah, well, true. Armor Smith's on the table, man. Armor Smith's on the table.
He's just got to take out these buzzards. That's the
Oh.
last thing he has to do. Is his
Yeah.
priority. He took out Angry Chicken over Web Spinner, by the way, because he wants to deny the immediate draw and wants to force the Web Spinner into making a tough choice of suiciding.
Oh, he's
Lotheb off
close.
top.
Oh my
for
god.
Brad. Hold on.
He was really close.
Leroy.
Leroy's 10 with Unleash. And then he's got 14. Oh, does he have it? Oh, I think he
Leroy
has it.
Unleashed.
He has
Does he
it.
have enough?
He has it.
Because of too many minions? Does he
Oh,
have
too many minions. Just one extra minion. That's what I was mad at.
Oh
Brad
my
was representing
god.
so much damage in his hand.
Yikes.
And StrifeCro's going to lose by one extra minion there at the end. Oh, that was so close for Strife. That's got to be heartbreaking.
I feel like this is a little bit of why you had to kind of follow up. I think Lotheb wasn't bad in that spot whatsoever. If you just kind of accomplish the same exact thing, you kill off the buzzards, you still gain armor. You gain actually 4.
Or at least having 2 of them, having a higher probability of getting it. So that might be a slight advantage. Brad does have the double flare with Strife running some more traps. Thinking that's going to be a pretty big factor here, and see who actually can take tempo on the board. And both of them start with Haunted Creeper. Oh, Web Spinner's nice though for Brad.
Wow, that is a
perfect.
very pretty hand. That's probably the best you can ask for, unless
Yeah.
you're playing like Undertaker / Leopard Gnome.
Okay, not bad by Strife though. He's got the coin. With having so many 2s, having the coin's going to be nice here.
Yeah, it's pretty decent to answer what's going to be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he gets a really passive animal companion and doesn't fall behind in life. Like, actually, life is a big resource in this matchup just because there becomes a point where you have to start, like, all your opponent's minions have taunt if you're down too much life. And then the game just gets out of control from there unless you have Buzzard Unleashed to kind of pull you back in. So there's going to be a tipping point in which both players will, or one player will not want to take any more damage, will have to trade everything, while one player just goes for face.
Okay, well, Strife's got a decision. He's got a decision already here on turn number 2. Mad Scientist is usually the play everybody plays, yeah, and so he's been going with that. It's just too much value there. Even though if you're gonna be behind in this kind of creeper exchange here, there's a freezing trap.
Well, there's also an Oasis Snapjaw, so
Snapjaw,
Brad's going to
too.
continue playing on curve, which is just so important. But then there's Hunter's Mark on StrifeCro's end.
He doesn't get anything but Huffer, man. This is amazing.
Hey, Jamman,
He got me.
when is it not Huffer? Can you please enlighten me? I'm willing to know.
Well, actually, I said when you're not playing when you're not playing Hunter, but Strife's playing Hunter, and it's still Huffer for some reason.
Well, there you go.
Oh man.
you know.
Okay, now he's got his animal companion. He needs Leok.
Well, anything is nice.
Actually, scientists.
Let's see what he
trading
rolls
is not
first.
bad either.
Even Misha is
Hey,
pretty important.
hey, how about
Huffer
that?
yourself.
How about that?
Jamman, when is it not Huffer? Please enlighten
I'm just
me.
convinced, man. I'm totally brainwashed now. It's always Huffer. It's always Huffer. I believe.
Do you go for the full board clear, deny the Houndmaster, or do you just kind of move on and kind of let your opponent do whatever with like a remaining spider? I think 4 damage is a little bit too much to miss.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's just gonna go for it. Plus he's got Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, I think the fact that he has Hunter's Mark, I think gives him that. Makes that decision a little bit easier to just go for face there. But thankfully for StrifeCro, Brad doesn't have the Houndmaster and Turtle Time. No, he's gonna that Huffer's just too much of a threat here. He's gonna go and remove it. Good decision.
Yeah. You also you're not sure necessarily like what trap it is, so he had to attack. Now I think it's almost confirmed that it's explosive, right? Because his spider attacked and it didn't trigger. So now this will give opportunity for StrifeCro to pad his weakest turn. This was his weakest turn by far, because Lotheb coming on turn 5 is so nasty if your opponent doesn't have response. And then obviously Savannah High Mage is one of the best values you can ever ask for.
Absolutely.
He also has a trap, so I think
Nice.
Brad's coming up on a really tough couple turns. But Flare is a nice way to kind of grab momentum.
Well,
You can
he's going to
destroy the
get
trap.
Yeah, I mean absolute value there from Flare, and it's Exactly what you needed. It was going to be a weaker turn, but I think that actually helps quite a bit because that trap obviously can just remove your minion they have on the board. But even if he lets it live for whatever reason, it could potentially spell even more value with the Eagle Horn Bow and that sort of bit. So,
Right. What I like about keeping Flare here is it's Explosive Trap / Snake Trap because you've seen StrifeCro play Snake Trap. You still have something like Oasis Snapjaw to play. Like, it's not really worth flaring just for the extra damage. He essentially hero powered you. That's what Explosive Trap did. And keeping Flare for a more critical turn where you're trying to get like this Oasis Snapjaw rolling might be more important. But StrifeCro has some powerful turns, so even if the Snapjaw comes down and it lives, which it won't, StrifeCro has good follow-ups. Brad needs more than what he has in his hand. He needs to pick up his Strangles of Tiger or more.
Okay, yeah, definitely good points there. All right, so this thing is going to be Hunter's marked here.
Yep.
Not too many better targets than that, especially in Brad's hand, given that the Tiger's going to be stealth right from the get-go anyways. Just something that you'll have to respond to after it's done some damage, gotten some value. So that's definitely good. Last thing you want to see is a Snapjaw Houndmaster. Ooh, and okay.
That's such an important top deck because now he denies it. Of course, StrifeCro has the Savannah Highmane, but at least he has a way to answer this threat, because if he took 5 damage for free and his opponent played something and then threatened the board position, he couldn't come back. He doesn't have Buzzard Unleash yet. He needs the Flare to kind of actually draw him in something, and then giving up Flare for something else.
Yeah,
but he's still like he's in a bad spot.
With the Savannah Highmane, like Strife, complete tempo advantage right now. Just can just push Facer and even ignore it. Even the Freezing Trap, I think, won't be too problematic for StrifeCro here.
Yep. He needs something more. He needs like an Unleash the Hounds.
No, he doesn't get it. Really need an Unleash. He's got the Hunter's Mark too, just ready to go.
Yep.
But he's way behind here. And even the Unleash turn, actually, he might not have gotten him completely back.
Yeah, because you're right. He would have left two hyenas,
right?
And then you still have to take 4 damage plus hero power. Brad's in a tough spot. And assuming his opponent doesn't have something like Kill Command, he's dead.
Yeah. And Strife's got, unless he gets a Leah. No, he's got Unleash already.
He's got Eagle Horn Bow. He's got Unleash the Hounds. He's got plenty of damage.
Yeah. Easy lethal here for StrifeCro, and like you said, when it's Hunter-Hunter matchup, it's just who draws better, in the first like 5-6 turns, and in this particular case, StrifeCro drew a bit better.
Well, what's also really important is setting the tempo early with damage. And I like that StrifeCro went for the face, because when he did that, he gave his Lotheb taunt. And he didn't have to trade.
Yes.
A lot of people, side, it's been custom Hunter.
You don't like that?
Custom Paladin. A little bit on the weak side.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like he just rushed him out. Last night, I know when he was submitting decks to me last night, he was having some trouble because of some dirty DDoSers, but got him in on time at least this morning. So that's probably his reason for not having any creativity to his deck names. But I want to see some Kel'Thuzad in this deck, because I haven't got I tried Kel'Thuzad a few times in the Paladin deck, but never really had those like oh yeah moments. Whenever I just get like everything back. So it'd be cool to see him have or Kel'Thuzad play a big part in this game.
You've never had a big game checkmate.
Well, I mean, they always like concede by the time I pull it off. You know what I mean?
No, I pity you so much, Chan, man.
I know.
There is very few greater feelings in the world.
When you get Sylvanas back after you've taken something of theirs. Oh, God.
Yeah. Or Cairns, or Sludge Belchers, or even like your draw engines, right? Like Acolyte of Pain. It's like, God, you just drew 3 cards off that Acolyte, and you're gonna draw 2 more. Like it's
That's true. That's true. Okay, so Creeper, pretty good start, decent start for StrifeCro there. He does have the combo, does have the weapon to bridge to that combo if he needs it. But this Paladin doesn't play like too fast. It does play dudes, so which will be good for Unleashed. But generally, this Paladin is slower. I mean, Paladins generally like to play defensive. A lot of times they go into fatigue with some of the matchups, but this one typically doesn't go into fatigue though. I don't think I go I don't think I get to that point very often with Hunter.
It can, because Hunter can draw way faster than Paladin. In fact,
Okay.
you just look at most Paladin decks, they have one or two primary ways of drawing cards, which is like Acolyte and Lay on Hands.
Yeah.
Harrison Jones is like this weird thing where you don't really play it for the card draw as much as you're playing for the weapon removal and the 5/4 body and the tempo you gain from it. But not, don't discount that for the fact that Paladin doesn't draw much. And so there is a scenario where like Paladin has like 19, 18 cards left in their deck, and then Hunter's like on the last two.
Yeah. And so he actually pulls out the Acorn Bow, but that allows Brad to actually get some good value from Harrison Jones here in the next turn. Given that he has coin, you're going to be able to throw that out. And StrifeCro right now doesn't have a very great answer for Harrison Jones. He might have to use quite a bit just to remove it. If he even wants to remove it. We'll see.
See, do you play around Consecration or True Silver Champion? Which one is more valuable to you, and which one positions you to be more successful? If you play around Consecration, it gives you liberation to play anything on the board, but you have nothing to follow up. You have Buzzard Unleash. You need to draw into something more powerful. StrifeCro is looking for like Animal Companion, Hound Master even.
Yeah, Consecration definitely is not great for him there. I mean, you still leave the 200 creepers, right? Okay. So does he can actually Kodo too. He's a lot of options. He's not going to Lotheb here. The weapon poses a threat to Lotheb.
Let me think.
Yeah, he's not under heavy pressure. It's not like the weapon has been hitting twice,
Yeah.
and he's now at like low 20s. He's just starting to get tickled here. So I mean, Kodo puts out a big minion, but then at the same time, if he say you whiff and you hit the Haunted Creeper, then you give an ability for your opponent to trade very easily and then continue to press out. So it's a little bit of give or take. This Kodo can go horribly wrong if he chooses to go for it. I think Harrison's the safer play. But Kodo has big benefit.
Oh, but he missed. That's definitely not the better of the two there. So kind of a miss there, but it looks like he's trying to set up for maybe a more opportune time to use the Harrison just on curve here in the next turn. If he uses the bow here, then Harrison's not going to get much value. Does he have 2 bows? I don't think he does. Let me see. I'm pretty sure he only has 1 bow. I mean, most people only run one bow in this type. No, he actually has 2. He has 2 bows. So it could be getting some more value later on. Yeah. All right, Hunter's Mark there, and StrifeCro. It's got combos there with Leroy and Unleash and Buzzer Unleash, but at this point, you wish you had high mains and minions like that right now.
He can artificially draw too with like Leroy, Buzzard, Unleash eventually, but that is such a far way off.
Yeah.
Brad again feeling like he wants more traps to proc, get more cards off of Harrison Jones, and take a bigger tempo swing out of things. Nope, goes for Harrison Jones now. That's the play I like.
Yeah, I think that's
better. And it still opens up opportunity. You have a quality Pyromancer, things go wrong. If your opponent easily removes this, you're still in a decent spot.
Strife still not drawing great for where he is in the game right now. See if he can pick up something. Animal Companion, Explosive Trap, a little late.
Late and pretty ineffective.
Yeah, definitely.
Most likely Harrison will be playing some kind of cleanup.
All right, so Strife hoping that Brad plays a couple minions here, so that he can draw quite a few. Gets a creeper down, maybe he can actually hit the creeper and again get an extra minion on the board that way too. But we'll have to see. Consecration. Okay, that's a pretty good draw here. Not removing that much, but man, that Undertaker is not really a 1-mana card from a value standpoint. That thing, what do you think an Undertaker averages in a game, value-wise? Man, like if you're gauge it,
somewhere around 1.5 to 2 mana cost card.
Yeah.
The fact that you can buff it to a 2/3 already makes it superior to Argent Squire in almost every department, unless Argent Squire absorbs like a Ragnarok shot.
Yeah.
So I think replacing Argent Squire in your deck with Undertaker in the current meta is absolutely one of the best ways to go at the moment.
Oh,
Chase Peltasod making an appearance, but he's just a little bit short of mana from being able to do some real cool stuff with it.
Oh, I think we are going to see some really cool stuff with it, though. He's got some bonus to really lead into it, and oh, man. Oh, it's actually a Misha, too. What happened? What happened?
Huh? Oh yeah, why is it not a hover? I don't know. Someone report this
man.
bug to Blizzard, please.
Exactly.
Pull up BattleNet. My animal companion was not a hover. WTF, Blizzard? And you
All
send
right.
it to @PlayHearthstone on Twitter.
Play Hearthstone. That's true. Shout out to those guys. A great Hearthstone team over there. But okay, so now does he know it's not a freezing? Yes,
No, he
does.
doesn't. That's why he's really afraid.
Yeah, so just
And now he knows it's explosive trap, and this is actually such good bait because it sets up more minions for Unleash the Hounds. Actually, if you're afraid of this, I think Lotheb's actually a smarter player because you want to make sure you don't give him any opportunity to draw cards.
yeah.
But Peacekeeper keeps your Harrison Jones alive. No, I think Lotheb is absolutely the better one. You have to kind of deny that draw. Whew, what a gamble from StrifeCro that ends up paying off in his favor, playing off of the mind games used from Freezing Trap.
And that's a big part of playing Hunter. I've been mind gamed, with Hunter's marks, even though they have freezing trap. So definitely little cool moves by Hunter players. That can give you
Huffer, by the way.
huge advantage here. This
Huffer
8 and a
Companion. One Huffer Companion coming. Is it Leroy?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
well, I guess Animal Companion makes sense
Seriously?
because you can draw off your buzzer next turn.
Holy smokes, you're gonna draw.
He's getting a full hand next turn, let me tell you.
Holy smokes, yeah. And Paladins don't have any kind of burst, and he's got the explosive trap in his
How about
in his
this?
hand too. This
Kale
is great.
Faisal.
Oh my
Kale
god,
Faisal revives all these guys.
No.
You want them to die, though. You want all these creatures
Oh,
to die.
yeah, you do. So he's not gonna play Kel'Thuzad. That's true. Oh,
Absolutely.
how awesome would that be, though? If he wasn't a Hunter, holy crap!
Gosh, it's every priest nightmare. Brad's on such low health, by the way. And then if StrifeCro picks up Kill Command,
He could do it.
like Kill Command's
Command?
actually lethal here.
Oh my god! Oh, when he gets
Oh! Well,
Wow.
GG. I kind of want to see
it! Wow!
if StrifeCro is able to draw a million cards, but I mean, why not just finish off your opponent? Paladin played a little bit too slow, and he didn't draw some of the most important cards to
pretty well on average in the beginning. I mean, what cards can he get that's terrible in the beginning? I guess 2 Doom guards. Just not likely. I don't think you. How often have you seen 2 Doom guards drawn in an event? Off the top, I don't remember.
Depends
that.
who's playing it, but I've seen almost every single Zoo player top deck two Doom guards.
No, I mean
back
like
to back.
off the beginning though, off the mulligan.
Oh. No, very rarely. You're
yeah, it's
absolutely
like I mean I wonder what the percentage is on that. It's like really low. Ooh, look at that start by StrifeCro. If that mad scientist can get an explosive trap, that's going to be really good for him. Brad starting with more he does have the wolf, but he's starting with more of the slower type of minions. They are
Yeah,
tokens, but it's more to kind of snowball a little bit later versus just like rushing him down right now.
right. Missing the 1-drop is actually really critical.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden his mana curve pans out really awkwardly. Good thing this Mortal Coil actually came into hand, so that way he can slide it in and be able to do something.
True.
But Brad not starting off very good. StrifeCro in the meantime seems like he's pairing together decent hand. Still needs a key card like Unleash the Hounds, like you mentioned. But even then, Unleash the Hounds is still a little feeble without cards like Timberwolf to back it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just if you don't have Hunter's Mark, you can't do anything. Even if there's like a Void Walker, you just lose everything anyways.
Okay, so he's thinking maybe to kill command there. I don't know, or maybe to freezing trap there. No, not sure.
Freezing Trap could hit something much better. In general, Freezing Trap feels a little bit weaker in this matchup just because there's so many small minions. But you can do much better than that.
Okay, so this is going to be a pretty good turn for Brad here. He's got the Voidwalker to protect the minions that are on the board here. Got that Soulfire too. Those the Zoo players always seem to have Soulfire in the first few turns to remove any kind of key minion, especially just to completely take over tempo. That's usually the benefits of that early Soulfire. All right, let's see if StrifeCro. Well, he's got a 50-50 on the trap. The fact that he's holding the freezing trap now His mad scientist is going to be 50-50 on getting that explosive, which is going to be huge for him. He really, really needs it. He gets a hungry crab. Not exactly what you want there.
No, but it is a target to Houndmaster.
Okay, well, true.
So maybe that comes into play. Ooh, Haunted Creeper.
You might feel the...
You're still a little cautious because of how everything stacks up. Damage from Zoo rolls in very quickly.
Yeah, it does.
Are you afraid of taking extra damage? Do you kill command to push through and only take 2 next turn while putting up explosive, perhaps? Is that the gamble you want to take while giving up your own board?
Yeah. Wow, this is... I mean, he could actually Houndmaster Crab next turn, but filling the board is always a good, it's definitely always a good move here. And the Creeper, too, is going to stick around. Ooh, that's a good draw. I guess it doesn't help that much. Everything here is pretty low mana anyways. But getting
that's good in the next turn when Houndmaster comes out.
Yeah.
Or if Houndmaster comes out, because Brad has an opportunity to trade down everything and Mortal Coil while putting up his own board.
This mad scientist.
He's going to be a little bit extra on mana, though.
Yeah, he could Mortal Coil that scientist, but he just doesn't want to equip that secret because an explosive trap would just be devastating right now. Is he gonna do it?
Oh man,
He's gonna do it.
I don't know about this one. This could go so poorly. But if it's a freezing trap, it's good news for Brad.
Oh, we got to see what it is.
Oh man, StrifeCro. He already saw what it is. I don't know. He didn't have a sharp reaction, so it
is an explosive.
Oh,
it is an explosive trap. Okay, so now Brad's just trying to get rid of. I think he's just trying to get rid of as many minions on the board as possible now with the possibilities. It is an explosive. Oh, he knows it's explosive, right? So he's just going to try to get some value out of all these guys. And that explosive trap is so perfect. I mean, the only minion that can really just live through it is the Dark Iron Dwarf. Obviously the tokens too, but tokens aren't that much of a threat for StrifeCro. And that is huge, man. And now he has the Eagle Horn bow too, which is actually
the Eagle Horn bow. So
oh man, yeah, this is really rough for Brad. And Brad knows he's kind of holding his head now, knowing this is
no way
that
Zoo can really gain +2 life easily, right? So if you kind of spread it out, make it easy for you to gain a charge, you can't really take any more damage. This Eagle Horn bow has been really massive for StrifeCro because now he can kind of answer threats very easily while putting out something like Lotheb and answer the next threat. Absolutely stellar draw for a member from Cloud9. Brad's in a tough spot here.
Crazy spot, and even a Doomguard wouldn't even be that great for him here because it can be removed. Well, he doesn't have a beast. Well, if he drew a beast, it could be removed. So doesn't draw it anyways. This trap is just looming. You got to get rid of it ASAP here. And man, you take 2 damage. Give the Eagle Horn Bone another durability there. But he's got to start over. He got to start somewhere, right? So it goes with the Flame Imp, Dark Iron. Nice start, at least, to get going again.
Oh man, Freezing Trap is also pretty gross in this spot. Hunter's Mark off the top.
Oh, but Hunter's Mark doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really go with anything currently in its deck, right?
No, but now you realize one of your last ways for your opponent to get back in the game is Doomguard. So now you have insurance against that. So it's like StrifeCro has all the tools necessary. And it feels like from this point on, all he needs is kind of the Unleash combo to make sure he can keep the draws up, and then he's good to go, because Warlock will still tap and draw 2 cards per turn, which you are kind of afraid of in the back of your mind. But if you can play the removal game, play really defensive, say he puts out like Houndmaster and coins out Freezing Trap, he's still in a pretty decent spot. You are susceptible to something like Soulfire, but whatever StrifeCro does, he just needs to put out a minion.
Yep. And puts down the strongest minion he has, which is Lotheb. I think that's going to be a good play. It's not really going to affect the mana of like a Soulfire that much, but so he's not going to play Soulfire anyways this turn. He's going to probably remove that. Well, is he going to remove it? Is he going to just go face here at this point? What do you think?
It's so tough because if you use your Abusive Sergeant here, you can't use it to activate the egg, so you're giving up 4 effectively, and you're losing 4 damage. So you let Lotheb go into it, anyways. Most likely you'll play to removal. Then you're able to kind of do something from there. StrifeCro picks up Freezing Trap number 2.
All right, this is a crucial turn, actually.
That actually might be really important too, because it might deny. If Brad gets careless, it might deny this 4/4 Nerubian.
It's true. Okay, well, as it is working out really, really nice for Strife, but you know what? He's not drawing any beasts. He's not drawing any minions really to play here. So that Houndmaster, it's been waiting for a beast to buff. Has not seen one in quite some time. So even though he's getting some great value with that Eagle Arm Bow and the traps here, he's not able to finish quite as simply here. And this turn, I think, is really crucial for him.
Let me ask you, do you like the idea of StrifeCro going and attacking face here? Oh, he is going for it! I was going to ask you this earlier, but...
Yeah, with the Freezing Trap, I think that's really, really great. And throwing down the Houndmaster, I think that was right. You have to get some kind of minion, some kind of presence on the board, or else the Zoo deck will come back on you, and you'll just get run over there in like 2 turns. All right, so
and the Freezing Trap allows him to put a little bit more damage. He has Kill Command, so he's got 8 damage next turn just from the hand alone, plus the weapon. Brad's still in a little bit tough spot. He was a little bit more susceptible to something like Defender of Argus.
Yeah.
But I think StrifeCro was willing to take the chances there because Lotheb now all of a sudden has a passive taunt put on him because Brad is sitting on lower health. He's going to have to trade.
Yep. And he's going to have a good turn here, Brad is. He's just going to dump everything here and just remove the board. That's his best chance.
But then unleash the hounds, Chanman.
I know, but you gotta take that chance, I think, at this point. I mean, you're looking at an Eagle Horn Bow that's got 6 for the next 2 turns. I mean, he's got 10 just from Hero Power and the Eagle Horn Bow, so... I think you just gotta go for it and just... Yeah, here we go. Actually, he's not gonna clear is he gonna clear? Oh, he's gonna clear 1 minion?
Well, because the idea is Lotheb can 2 for 1, but there's still a lot of small minions. StrifeCro still missing the damage to end the game.
Okay, gives him has he used both Soulfires? He might have a Soulfire. Well, he has a draw here.
It's actually a dead draw.
Yeah, that is a dead draw. And, suddenly the Zoo deck is, in position to potentially win it here.
Let's see, 8, 10, 13. 13 damage, Doomguard off the top, Soulfire off the top. And that's just 1 card, let alone tapping and maybe drawing some more. StrifeCro's in a tough spot.
Yeah, he's really in a tough spot. And explosive, there's not a second explosive trap. So the only removal, kind of master or board removal type of card that StrifeCro has is a Unleash the Hounds. He's really, really going to need it in the next turn. I mean, he might be able to remove one of these 4/4s, but that's about the extent. He's still going to be representing 7 damage here, I think, even, and that's including like a bow probably removing something here. So he's probably going to take 2 damage this turn and 7 damage next turn, 9 damage, and then... Okay, use the Hero Power. Interesting.
Is there a way that you can set it up so that next turn you win, in case he doesn't draw into damage? StrifeCro going to put out 7 damage this turn.
8.
I don't know. It's going to be so close.
No,
I think you have to use his removal.
There definitely is a way to set it up. I mean, he can, if he draws a beast, he can definitely do it, because he's going to have another swing from the bow, and he's going to get 5. Yeah, he'll have 10 from the bow and the Hero Power. He could do it. He has a Leroy deck. Okay, there we go.
Right.
Let's remove a little bit of damage. There's nothing he can get from the Mad Scientist here. So either
let's see what Brad has. He still needs a little bit more juice. The Ruby Egg is not it.
Oh, here we go. This is it. This is huge. Whether to tap or not here, man, this is a tough decision. He can remove the board, which is good for Brad. Yeah, like if he can't kill him here on this turn, he can remove at least enough so that the weapon and the hero doesn't kill him. God, you tap here, Frodan. Get I think a Defender of Argus.
Tapping doesn't actually let you win the game, and you get so close to death.
You have to get a Defender
of Argus. He only
needs
1 damage off the top. And it has to be Defender of Argus, because Doomguard won't win you the game.
Yeah. This is rough right here.
And I think Abusive Sergeant should be the one to attack first, because then if it's Freezing Trap, you still have the ability to buff something. Ooh. No, this is actually...
Oh, he does.
Oh no, sorry,
He doesn't
freezing
have a
trap's not played.
Doesn't have a trap.
Freezing trap's not played.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't.
Wow. This is and you know Brad doesn't know that there's no secrets still in the deck. So that actually was might have
Oh.
Anyways.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh no, now Brad missed out on 4 damage because he overkilled.
That was actually an interesting decision, given that could have been explosive.
Wow.
He equipped it there.
He thought he could bait out freezing trap beforehand. He gets important knife juggle, but now StrifeCro is 1 damage off lethal.
Oh man, this is coming down to the wire here.
I don't know what he needs to draw something to end this game.
Right. Oh,
Unleash
man.
the hounds off the top, and StrifeCro is gonna win the series 4-3, Chan man, by the skin of his teeth.
That was an exciting finish there. It was looking so bad for Brad. Then all of a sudden, Brad was turning this game around. And StrifeCro, yeah, with the clutch Unleash the Hounds to win this series 4-3. Man, these decks.